I have a question for you up here, and then after that, I think you've got time for maybe 2 quick more ones, and that'll probably be it. So,
to the relief of everyone in this room.
You mentioned earlier about the urgent need to do something about immigration, and neither candidate for president really touched on that subject at all. Do you think, number one, that the Obama, the new organization, will follow the suggestions that you had earlier about a rational national immigration policy, and do you think that Congress will go along with it?
As I mentioned earlier in a previous lecture when I talked about Obama and what his unique position is in the political spectrum, he occupies a position that perhaps no president since Roosevelt has occupied. And that is that he has the ability to strengthen the executive and strengthen it in a way to be able to develop a national policy that would be unheard of prior to this economic crisis in which we find ourselves. I think just as the Depression wakened hundreds of thousands of people to the fact that government has a role to play, and a significant role, in changing our priorities and in resolving problems that traditionally had been left to the states, private organizations, and what you will. He has a mandate that is truly unique. He has a voting base that crossed party lines, that certainly has no allegiance or requires allegiance from him to any special interest group, and yet he has the ability to have raised through his message more money than any candidate ever imagined a candidate could raise, let alone, with all due respect, a black candidate running against the wife of a former president of the United States. So if anyone can do it, I think he can. And I do think, based upon at least my understanding of the man, that he will try to come up with answers that are real, that are long-term, that will be viable, and that he will be able to sell to the American people, because not only is he admittedly very, very bright, but he is articulate in a way that people want to hear what he has to say. It's great to be able to have the ability to give a good speech, but if you lose your audience, it really doesn't matter very much. He will keep his audience, I think.
There's a question to your left, towards the back in the house.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I'd like to pursue the immigration thing from a slightly different angle, because you mentioned the title of the lecture was Can We Be Competitive? And especially perhaps as it relates to becoming self-sufficient in terms of energy. If there are the best and brightest scientists, engineers in other places in the world, is our non-immigration policy keeping them from coming here and perhaps helping us rather than other countries pursue this goal? And if so, would these people be inclined to go to other countries? Are we losing that kind of expertise and the opportunity to tap into it?
I think other countries are recruiting our scientists, our technicians, our mathematicians in ways that are truly employment agency incentive ways. They're offering them travel, bonuses, living allowances, the list goes on. And we have, for want of a better word, a brain drain, and have had, incidentally, for decades, which not only has got to stop, but we have to learn a lesson from those who have been successful at it, how to beat them at their own game.